Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah coming to you guys, California. Before I begin, give all praise the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. I pray the Most High blesses this lesson this evening, gives more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past, in order to understand events that are currently happening on the earth, so we get a much better understanding of the things that are soon to come on the earth. Brethren, we get into a very heavy topic this evening. Going to be getting into the dogma of Satan and who started this and for what reason and who was it made for, to suppress. See, we got to understand that we had a really huge event a couple nights ago with the longest eclipse in the last 580 years. So a couple of comments we're going to talk about real quick. But it's right here. The celestial spectacle was the longest partial lunar eclipse in 580 years. A lunar eclipse that lasted 3 hours and 28 minutes and 24 seconds. The longest since 1440 was visible for the United States on November 19th. And we know around 1440s, 1450s, I want to say it was around 1453, Dum Diversas pretty much put our people into perpetual servitude until different. They used that papal bull to go around and subjugate our people worldwide. Still our lands, still our freedom, still our history, still our information. And that's exactly what they've been doing for all this time. Not till 580 years later, we had another, celestial spectacle, the lunar eclipse. And we know that, as I said, the Most High puts our stories in the skies and the stars and these events and these celestial spectacles. They're for us. They're signs for us. Saw this comment earlier in the last video. It was really good by Enlightened Israelite. Nation, when this eclipse happened, before we had just went into bondage. Think of that. So the eclipse happens again while we're getting ready to leave, while we're leaving bondage. If this isn't clear, I don't know what is. Most High, all praises. Nation, let's stay in love with one another, gain the knowledge and wisdom so we can all move forward. The Most High is giving us more knowledge and understanding. See, he'd already, when he shut everything down, started to separate us from the other nations. Now he's using his people again to expose the lies of the abominable church. It's one thing to know that, the Catholic Church, Christian Church, all these churches are all part of the abominable church. But the Most High is going to expose them more specifically. He's going to give us more revelation, more understanding. This, definitely typifies how we are the light of the world. We're the only ones that are bringing out this information and making these connections, the people of the Most High. That's how the Most High is showing a difference between us and the other nations. Us and even the other Israelites. Everyone has, their job, their mission. Okay? And it's our job, to actually do the will of the Most High and bring out this information. We're going to show you how the other nations made up the whole dogma of Satan. It's all part of a huge part of their Christian and Catholic religions, used as scare tactics, superstition. See, when they can't explain something, they pawn it off to Satan and just tell you just not to do it. Don't do it because, that's satanic. Don't do that because it's satanic. don't, partake in these types of activities because it's satanic. It's all part of Satan. You're going to see how they've taken many of the things that our people used to do, how we used to make connections with the Most High, how we used to make connections with the earth, how we used to make connections with the angels. And they made all of that pretty much illegal and satanic. All the while, they're in connection, and communication with the spirits, with their spirits that are leading them astray. But they set it up so that we would not be in contact with our power, and that we would not delve into these different subjects in order to keep us down at the bottom and keep us totally ignorant of knowledge and understanding. They made our practices seem evil so that we would lose connection with our power and the angels that have been sent here to help us. Now, history is replaying itself. So this is why, you have to understand history. You got, again, you got the, exoteric understandings of scriptures and the esoteric understandings of scripture. You got the ones for everyone to see, and you got ones for the small amount of people that are going to make these connections. See, right here, we're going to take a look at how when Moses was, communicating with Pharaoh, and he was bringing plagues in order to let his people go, the Pharaoh didn't want to let the people go, but he knew that he was losing, this battle with our power. So he decided, he's going to make, deals. See, the Most High wants us to worship him a certain way. The Pharaoh doesn't want that to happen. And that's what you're seeing right here, playing out in Exodus 8 right here. And the same thing is happening today. The Most High awakens us. But the church, which would be like the Pharaoh right here, they want to control this awakening. How do they want to control this awakening? Oh, you can't read any other books. Oh, you only can read the books that we approve. So see, even in Exodus here 8, they all knew that they were about the Israelites. They knew who the Israelites were. That's not a big deal to the Gentiles. That's why, like, we got our awakening and we realized who we are. We thought we did something. Oh, we know we're not African American. We know that we're the Israelites. And we thought that, hey, that was it. That's all we needed. But there's more to it than just that. So just like in Exodus here 8, they knew who the Israelites were. There's more to it than just that. So in this awakening, they were like, okay, all right, you guys can figure out that you're the people of the book. Okay, that's fine. But you're not going to figure out all this other stuff. We're going to make it so that that's all you stick with, and you just take pride in knowing that you're Israelites, and that's it. And you don't go any further with trying to make connections with the Most High, making more connections with the angels, making more connections with the Holy Spirit, taking more steps, getting that esoteric understanding, the deeper knowledge. See, and that goes with 2nd Esdras 14, how certain books are given to everyone, to the worthy and the unworthy. That goes with that whole exoteric understanding. Everyone can read these books. Everyone can get this information. Everyone can understand it this way. But the esoteric information, the other books, the other understanding, that's only for a chosen few. That's in our scriptures. But see, the church is all about only concentrating on the books that are for everyone to read. And they make the other ones for the esoteric, for the small elite or small group of people, they make it seem like that is illegal. That is evil. Don't do that. Now let's just read a little bit here of Exodus 8, and you can see how the Pharaoh is trying to control the awakening, trying to control how we reconnect with our Savior, with our Father. Right here, Exodus 8:25. And Pharaoh called for Moses and for Aaron and said, go ye, sacrifice to your God in the land. And Moses said, it is not meet so to do. For we shall sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians to the Lord our God. Lo, shall we sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians before their eyes, and will they not stone us? We will go 3 days' journey into the wilderness and sacrifice to the Lord our God as he shall command us. See that? They want to, okay, you can do that. You can go ahead and serve your God, but serve him here. Or you can go serve your God, but leave your animals. Or you can go serve your God, but leave your kids. They're always trying to dictate how we serve our power. That's what was happening back then, and that's what's happening right now. Many people are not going to make that connection. They're not going to see that. They're not going to see how, okay, you can know you're the Israelites, but don't read any other books. And the Most High said he's going to give us other books and more understanding. But the churches will want to control that. No, no, no. There's no other books. There's nothing else to read. Don't look at anything else. Just like the Pharaoh tried to control our awakening back then, the pharaohs of this world are doing exactly the same thing. And they employ people who look just like us to do it. Amazing how you see these connections, right? It's much more going on than what meets the eye. So again, and Pharaoh said, I will let you go, that ye may sacrifice to the Lord your God in the wilderness. Only ye shall not go very far away. Entreat for me. And Moses said, behold, I go out from thee, and I will entreat the Lord that the swarms of flies may depart from Pharaoh, from his servants, and from his people tomorrow. But let not Pharaoh deal deceitfully any more in not letting the people go to sacrifice to the Lord. You see, the Pharaoh is definitely dealing deceitfully back then because he didn't even let them go. He had no intentions of letting them go. He was lying in order to keep control of the people. This Pharaoh, these priests of Mahan, are dealing deceitfully with our people even today. Oh yeah, you guys can be the Israelites. Okay, you did no problem. Okay, you guys can read the Bible. Okay, but you can't read anything else. That's dealing deceitfully. You can't read the rest of your own records. That's how they deal deceitfully with us today, just like they did back then. Limiting knowledge, limiting the way that we can connect back to our Father. Can only use the information that they've approved, which is no information at all. There's way more information that they've been keeping hidden. And they've gotten this kind of control of the other nations as well as our own people. And I'm going to show you how. With this whole dogma of Satan. They got our people so scared to actually step out of church, step out of the umbrella of church because they're so scared of going to hell. There's only one way to heaven. The churches, they're the ones that know, the pathway to heaven. If you step away from the church, you're going to go to hell. That's all that fear that they've been using all this time. And many people they want to be man pleasers. Okay? Many people want to be man pleasers. They're still going to give their power and their allegiance to the beast system. Okay? You got people who give their allegiance to their churches. Like their churches are the only way that you can find your way back to heaven. You got people in the truth that all give all their allegiance to their camp, their particular organization, as if they're the only ones that have the truth. And if you don't go 100% with what they say, you're going to go to hell. Same thing. You're going off. You're going to go to hell. You're going to go get that hellfire. Same thing. Fear. You're going off. Satan's leading you this way. Satan's leading you that way. Fear. And like I said, that's no different than the Christian church, Catholic church, camps, organizations. When you follow 80 books only, you follow what the Catholic Church has set up. You don't expand your knowledge. You don't follow the Most High wherever He leads you. That's all the same. It's no different because you're going to end up in exactly the same place. Now check this out. Again, we're getting to Isis Unveiled, okay? The Master Key. Mysteries of Ancient and Modern Science and Theology, okay, by H.P. Blavatsky. All right, here we go at the bottom there. The Christians were the first to make the existence of Satan a dogma of the church. And once that she had established it, she had to struggle for 1700 years for the repression of a mysterious force, which it was her policy to make appear of diabolical origin. Unfortunately, in manifesting itself, this force invariably tends to upset such a belief by the ridiculous discrepancy it presents between the alleged cause and the effects. If the clergy have not overestimated the real power of the arch enemy of God, it must be confessed that he takes mighty precautions against being recognized as the Prince of Darkness, who aims at our souls. If modern spirits are devils at all, as preached by the clergy, then they can only be those poor or stupid devils whom Max Miller describes as appearing so often in the German and Norwegian tales. Notwithstanding this, the clergy fear above all to be forced to relinquish this hold on humanity. They are not willing to let us judge of the tree by its fruits, for that might sometimes force them into dangerous dilemmas. Exactly, not judging people by their fruits. You got this, arch enemy of God, and he's able to do whatever it is that he wants, and he's after people's souls, and and this is all a dogma of the church. And as we come into the truth, and you have the whole understanding of the right hand side and the left hand side, and the Most High controls both. Just like in the story of Job, the Most High, shows us this. He demonstrates this when the devil had to go and get permission from the Most High to test Job. The devil just couldn't go and just do whatever he wanted. He had to go and get permission. And when I brought this up to Christians that I've talked to before, they're definitely perplexed. And they'll say things like, oh, that trippy book of Job, because they say they can't explain it, because they've had this whole dogma of a Satan that is, a free agent. He can just do whatever the hell he wants. And he's just the enemy of God, and he's going to fight God all the way to the end. When we know in the scriptures, it says otherwise. It talks about how the Most High sends lying spirits on people. The Most High, you don't die unless the Most High approves it. Satan just can't just kill you. The Most High has to approve it. But see, that's a concept that many in the church can't wrap their heads around, because they've been given the lie of an all-loving God that only wants you to be winning all the time. Not a God that won't test you. But see, we understand that we are here in this reality to endure tests. But you also have a huge part of the segment of the population that thinks that you're here just to win all the time, just to enjoy yourself, party all the time, Jesus. That's what they think. But they don't go into the scriptures to try to get that confirmation. And see, this is a huge stranglehold that these priests of Mahan have on the people. This whole concept of Satan, and how the church is, battling Satan. The Catholic Church is battling against Satan when they're Satan themselves. When they go around condoning raping, robbing, murdering, stealing, hiding information, keeping the world ignorant, how is that representing the Most High? It doesn't. It represents Satan. Like I said, the other nations have their gods, or their spirits that lead them astray. And they were sent, of course, by the Most High to lead them astray. They still, as they're leading them astray, they're doing the will of the Most High, leading those people astray. Those spirits aren't omnipotent, and they can't just do whatever it is that they want. They're still doing the will of the Most High. But the other nations can't grasp that concept that the Most High doesn't want them, and that he's sending them spirits to lead them astray. They can't grasp that concept. Okay, so let's continue. Notwithstanding this, the clergy fear above all to be forced to relinquish this hold on humanity. They're not willing to let us judge the tree by its fruits. They don't want us to do that, especially if you look at the churches and look at their fruits. Their fruits are rotten, and it's easy to see. So for that might sometimes force them into dangerous, excuse me, dilemmas. They refuse likewise to admit with unprejudiced people that the phenomenon of spiritualism has unquestionably spiritualized and reclaimed from evil courses many of the indomitable atheist and skeptic. But as they confess themselves, what is the use in a pope if there is no devil? Exactly. What is the use for a pope if there's no devil? See, these churches are about ignorance. They're not about teaching anyone anything. So they got to have some enemy in order to have, for them to play the good guy. See, our people are about bringing knowledge, enlightenment, and understanding. That's what we're here to do. We can sell that. We can show that to people, and people will be drawn to that. But when a church is all about hiding information, keeping people ignorant, spreading nothing but lies, that's going to be a hard sell. So what do they got to do? Come up with a Satan, come up with an enemy, and how if you want to be saved from this enemy, you need to come to their church. And then you go to their church thinking that you're going against Satan, a Satan that they made up. And you're following Satan. You're following those principles in their churches. You're following those lying spirits in their churches. So let's continue. And so Rome sends her ablest advocates and preachers to the rescue of those perishing in the bottomless pit. Rome employs her cleverest writers for this purpose, just like in wisdom of the wisdom of the Irish, and how the churches and the clergy are definitely rewriting history, rewriting this, rewriting everything. That's what they're doing right here as well. Okay. So Rome employs her cleverest writers for this purpose, albeit they all indignantly deny the accusation. And in the preface to every book put forth by the prolific de Mosé, the French Tertullian of our century, we find undeniable proofs of the fact. Among other certificates of ecclesiastical approval, every volume is ornamented with the text of a certain original letter addressed to the very pious author by the world known Father Ventura de Rolica of Rome. Few are those who have not heard this famous name. It is the name of one of the chief pillars of the Latin Church, the ex-general of the Order of the Theatins, consultor of the Sacred Congregation of Rites, examiner of bishops and of the Roman clergy, etc., etc., etc. This strikingly charismatic document will remain to astonish future generations by its spirit of unsophisticated demonolatry and unblushing sincerity. We translate a fragment verbatim, and by thus helping its circulation, hope to merit the blessings of Mother Church. Now I took another picture. We get a little bit better picture of the bottom there. Okay. Monsieur de an excellent friend. The greatest victory of Satan was gained on that day when he succeeded in making himself denied. To demonstrate the existence of Satan is to reestablish one of the fundamental dogmas of the church, which serve as a basis for Christianity, and without which Satan would be but a name. Magic, mesmerism, magnetism, symbolism, spiritualism, spiritism, hypnotism are only other names for Satanism. So all of those different things right there, magic, mesmerism, magnetism, all these different, things, that people do, is all Satanism. So you see how they made anything that deals with spirituality evil, part of Satan. See, and these were many things that our people were already doing. The ancients, the Israelites, many of the remember now, so the Most High gave our people all this knowledge in order for us to live harmoniously here on the earth. And church went ahead and turned that around and said that's all Satanism. So that now when you get into fast forward to today and you start saying, hey, you know what? We have other books. No, no, we don't. Those books are satanic. Oh, hold on. You know what? The spirit, is still working. No, no, no. There's no such thing as a spiritual revelation. It's only what we've approved as a church, and that's it. There's nothing else. Magic. Oh no, all that magic is all. It's all black magic. It's all evil. That's Satanism. Well, if you look in the Bible, it looked like they were, actually performing things that would look like magic. No, no, no. That's all. That's all just, Satanism. And they say we would never go back to the things that we did before the church came along. We would never make connections back to the spirit world and back to the ways that we used to do things before. Why is that? Because we've had it ingrained in our brains so much that anything outside of what the church has approved is Satanism. That's why when I get attacked, like, oh, don't read those books, you're going to lead people astray. You're going to, reading too many books is just very dangerous. Who gives us that idea? The church. Why? And how do they do that? Oh, you're going off. You're going to go to hell. Satanism. Same thing. Like I said, no different than the church. And they had to come up with a boogeyman in order to keep you in line, so that you would not fall out of line and do things that they don't approve. So to bring out such a truth and show it as the proper light is to unmask the enemy, to bring out, is to unveil the immense danger of certain practices, reputed innocent. It is to be is to deserve well in the eyes of humanity and of religion. Okay, so they use their priests to come up with these ideas, these archbishops or whatever else, and they push all of these lies, and they've worked all the way till today. That's why we got so many of our people who are afraid to step out and read and look at things for themselves because they're afraid of getting kicked out of the church. They get kicked out of the church, they can't go to heaven, right? Because the only way to get to heaven is by these churches. They're the only ones that have the keys to heaven. You think an organization that has been pretty much co-signing raping, robbing, and murdering the children of the Most High, lying about who they are, lying about the history, condoning, the horrible treatment of the Most High's chosen people, condoning the fact that people don't have to pay for their wrongdoings, rubber stamping racism, making up doctrine like this, the mark of Cain on black people, so that they could, justify what they were doing to us in slavery, justify us not getting any justice right now. You think those are the people that are going to lead you to heaven, lead you to truth? Those churches have broken all of the commandments of the Most High, and they teach people to do the same thing. And if you break the commandments against the Most High's chosen people, that much the better. You think they're going to teach you how to get to heaven? They're going to teach you the truth. They're going to teach you who the true people of the Most High are. They're going to teach you who you should be blessing. No, they're not. So here's your boogeyman that they've been making up in order to keep you in line. And it's done a great job because there's so few that are willing to take that chance and say, you know what, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in the things that they're telling me. I'm not going to be, hindered and only read the book that they approve. I'm going to step out and follow the ways of the Most High, wherever that leads me. Very few are willing to do that. They're willing to stay under the spell of the boogeyman, the spell of Satan, and how they're the only ones that can lead you away from Satan and into heaven. Now, the scriptures show you that what they're pushing is not true about this, this arch enemy of God who has all this power. Take a look real quick at the Old Testament pseudepigrapha right here, Volume 1. Apocalypse of Elijah, just a little bit right here. The lament of the Antichrist and the pursuit of the righteous. Remember, the Antichrist is supposed to be the devil, incarnating a man and everything else, right? Okay. Then on that day, the shameless one will weep, saying, "Woe to me, because my time has passed by for me. Well, I was saying that my time would not pass by for me. My years became months, and my days have passed away, as dust passes away. Now, therefore, I will perish together with you." He's perishing together with the people that have followed him. Why is that? Because he has no power. Why is that? Because he's a figment of the imagination of the church. He is something that was an idea that was made up in order to keep you in line. And they're showing you right here that he has no power and that he's going to be destroyed right along with the church. So again, my years became months, and my days have passed away, as dust passes away. Now, therefore, I will perish together with you. Now, therefore, run forth to the desert, seize the robbers and kill them. Bring up the saints, for because of them the earth yields fruits. For because of them the sun shines upon the earth. The good things of the earth are here because of us. The earth yields its fruit. The angel of the earth yields the fruit. The angels of air, water, and light bring life to the planet for the saints. The earthly mother works all these things for the saints. You guys just happen to be here and reaping the benefits of the things that have been set up for us. And if you actually would bless the saints, you would be blessed. But because you follow Satan, this idea of the church, you are cursing the saints, which is now bringing curses upon you. Now it says, "For because of them the dew will come upon the earth. The sinners will weep, saying, You made us hostile to God. If you are able, rise up and pursue them." But the whole thing is, you made us hostile to God. They made us hostile. Satan, or that whole idea, and them trying to find their way to heaven through the church and follow the ways of the church, follow the rules of the church, went the opposite of the Most High. And they became enemies of our Father because they refused to listen to the truth. Now you understand why these scriptures are hidden, why they are not approved. Don't read that, because it exposes the fact that they've made up a whole Satan that has no power in order to keep you in line and keep you in a church that's actually going to make you an enemy of the Most High. That's doing the opposite of all the things that he's told you to do. It's also in the regular Bible that they have approved for you. Isaiah 14:5. "The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth." So again, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger and is persecuted, and none doth hinder. That would be your church, your priest of Mahan. Ruled the nations in anger. Rape, rob, murder, destroy, and everything. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. When he is taken down, the earth is going to be rejoicing. The people will be rejoicing. It says, "Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, Since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us." Yes, the churches, once you guys are laid down, all this information starts to come out. All this understanding starts to come out. When you're taken out of the way, everything goes back to its regular course. And joy and freedom and happiness are released back on the earth again. "Hell from beneath is moved, for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, Art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy viols, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee." So this whole Satan idea comes down, and they realize he's just like you. He has no power. He's powerless. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? This Lucifer here who weakened the nations is like nothing. He's cut down, just like a man. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation and the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners? Okay? They're like, this is the man? This is the one that did all these things? He's nothing. He has no power. But just like it's also said, but they also are going to say that you turned us against the Most High. So you can see how this whole concept was all a construct of the Catholics and Christian churches. How they've used it to keep people in line and to keep them from searching for the truth. To be man pleasers and be more tied to their organizations than to the Most High. And the Father is now bringing this understanding out so that you can see the truth and you can break away from these organizations and follow and please the Most High rather than man. All praise is to the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledge it, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.